What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do.
Yeah.
Then y'all in the artist mode. What y'all was on live making some songs or just listening to some stuff?
I like to get on every once in a while and just play new songs and catch the vibe of what people are, really enjoying and the stuff that they're responding to. Even like the stuff that they're asking about from the previous lives. You know what I mean? It'll let me know what's sticking.
Hmm.
It's dope to have some like feedback, people to bounce it off. That's something me and Quincy was actually talking about earlier. Like he was talking about tapping in with some people out there in Georgia, like just like-minded people that he can bounce ideas off of. Just be around other creatives to keep himself sharp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And they got this dope spot. Shout out to the Gathering spot. It's like a membership for like creatives, basically, where it's like a bar networking facility. I haven't been there yet, but I've basically been advised of it, so I'm definitely going to tap in pretty soon. Just want to get everything a little sharper, so that when I get there, I'm not, hey, I'm a rapper and they looking me up and it's stuff from 2 years ago. Like, nah, like, what I'm saying, I'm trying to get everything out. Well, not everything, but get some stuff out and be ready to go once I'm ready to network.
Yeah, something dope we kind of discovered on the live is you have a lot more complete, ready to go music than we even thought about when we were talking earlier.
Facts. I forgot about a couple of the songs, so I'm really excited, man. I met with Freddie earlier today. Shout out to Freddie. He helps with Lester's marketing, and he's been working on a lot of my rollout that's coming out, and we were just chopping it up and kind of getting things together. So just to be able to discover a little bit more music that I forgot about definitely makes that even easier because now I can kind of just figure the game plan even better with more material. So I'm definitely excited over the next few weeks.
Y'all on it. That's what's up, man. It's good to see the music and just creativity be consistent. That's a dope thing.
Yeah, that's something me and Quincy was even talking about just as far as releasing music and staying in the groove and being in people's face all the time as far as them seeing that you're working, them seeing that you're dropping new stuff, different looks, different vibes. A lot of times they just want to see that you're, working hard at it. As far as the fans go, as far as people that are just tapped in that might just be rooting for you for other reasons, they just want to know that you're putting that hard work in to validate the specialness. You
Yeah.
know, if you're lazy and not getting it done, you're never going to be able to push past that barrier. And not say, obviously, I'm not saying that you were lazy in the situation or whatever. I'm just saying once you focus your energy that way, you know that you can't focus it half-ass.
Right.
It's like
Big facts.
if you're gonna go in that direction, you have to go in that direction with the most, the intention to make it be the most beneficial from every point of view, and you got
Hmm.
to understand exactly what you're trying to get out of it, because that's something in music that happens a lot with artists, and that's something that even happened with me. I didn't even know what I was trying to get out of music, so I wasn't navigating the right way because I didn't have a plan. So it's
Hmm.
like I got to step back and say, okay, I'm this type of guy, I'm this type of artist, I'm this type of creative. What am I trying to do where I can sustain it and get people to tap in with me and understand me in my natural state? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to have to carry a facade or a character or something to kind of get me through. It's
Yeah.
something that I've mentioned on the podcast before that J. Cole actually said, and I always look for the clip, like see exactly where he said this, but it was in an interview and he was in a studio and basically was saying that it takes a little longer when you're not really coming with the gimmick, but it's as long as you keep going and break past that barrier, and once you break through, it means that much more because you know that you got there on your own. You know what I mean? Standing on your own too.
Hmm. It's funny that you mentioned the plan concept, and after this, I definitely wanted to get into Joe's tattoo, man, because he definitely got a dope tattoo. But real quick, the first thing that Freddie asked me, before coming up with the plan was, what do you want out of this? And I feel like a lot of people don't go into, endeavors or things, knowing what they want out of it. They just get excited about, what they're doing, but it's like, what do you want out of it? Because that's the only way you're gonna know how to get there. You know what I'm saying? And it was like so dope that he asked me that, and then immediately we start figuring out, all right, bet. So this is how we're gonna get there. You know?
Yeah, and it kind of ties into Joe too, because before we got on, we were talking to Joe about something work related, and just hearing how complex what he does is, and how meticulous it is, and how much goes into it, and how long these projects last. It's like, how do you say it? It's a lot to take in just from the outside looking in. Like, wow, like you're really handling a lot of just complicated, big, it's hard to explain without really getting into it, but it's something that I admire. Like, wow, you're putting so much effort, energy, focus, brain power into this thing that's going to be a bigger thing that's very beneficial to a lot of people. But
Yeah.
that mental grind that you go through, that's that sacrifice that you're making to be a part of these things, to be in the field that you're in, to enjoy, the fruits of your labor. That's the other side of it.
Hmm.
Nah, big time, and and that's why I feel myself so relatable with you guys. I care about what I put out. I feel like I'm an artist when I create these artifacts for what I do, and I want it to be the best it could be, and I'll tweak it for hours. And so sometimes me spending 4 hours on my desk is me just tweaking my own work and critiquing and saying, no, I could have said this better, or I could have done this better, or this color don't match, or it's an appreciation for what I do and for what I've been doing for a long time that I feel I'm good at, that I continue to try to improve on. And it's just caring about the quality of the work. And I think that plays into any role, any kind of path you take for what you do or what you choose to put out there. I think the quality and you caring about that end product is the most important thing that makes anybody successful. And that's one thing I carry with me. That's one thing I noted from you guys, and we'll get into about my tattoo artist as well.
Yeah, a piece of that was dope that I kind of want to build on was just how you're talking about the work that goes into it, and the fact that it's kind of what draws the mutual respect between all of us, is because we all recognize how hard we're all individually working for our goals. And it adds that extra layer of, you know, when you're that kind of person, you also understand another person that's doing the same thing. You kind of understand the ebbs and flows of their day. So it has you're in a different mind state than most people are in usually when they're dealing with like different things, which is the thing that me and Quincy were actually talking about earlier, like just even juggling different things and extracurricular things, and giving it the same kind of discipline that you give the other stuff in your life too. If it's your 9 to 5, if it's your family, if it's home life, work life, whatever it is, it's figuring out how to give that across the board so you're not lacking in any area.
Yeah.
Agreed. You gotta try. People say you can't give everything 100%. You can. Anything you're not giving 100%, you gotta either evaluate why you're even doing it or find a better way to do it. I think that's what the case is.
Word. Yeah, that's dope, man. And that even leads into the tattoo artist thing, because just as far as being creatives and people in business, it ties in perfectly, because a tattoo artist has to kind of combine those two things to be successful, the artistic side and the business side. So I know you want to get into that tat that you got and the tattoo artist, and I'm super excited to hear about it. Because like I said, I'm always real, I like to watch tattoo shows and things like that, because I'm just really intrigued with things like that, where like that they're putting in a lot of work, that there's a lot of discipline that goes into the style of the drawing, how they draw, what they draw, knowing the techniques, knowing how they're supposed to draw, how they're supposed to use the tattoo gun depending on what the style is. Like, it's so much that goes into it that it's impossible not to respect it, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Big time. Um, yeah. So just to give a quick description of what my tattoo is, and then the meaning kind of leads into this conversation. So um, I have three women, three sisters tattooed on my left calf muscle, and they represent the Greek mythology of the fates. It was in the Hercules movie. I saw it in an episode of Criminal Minds. That's when it really clicked for me. And it was dope because it was Kevin Malone playing the killer in that movie, and he was the one who was guided by these Greek goddesses or whatever. So the story is there's three sisters that show up right after a mortal is born, and determine its life. And so the life is represented by the first sister, which is a string that she lets go, which is the life. You know, that she lets go the string, and that's the life. The second sister is responsible for measuring the life and determining like the tribulations that the person's going to go through, all the ups and downs, and pretty much just presetting the whole life. And then the third sister cuts it, which represents the death, the ending of the life. And so it kind of symbolizes that whether you consider it God's plan or the universe's plan, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, um, I believe there is a path set for everybody. And their decisions will guide them down that path, but they're still going down that same path. They're still going to have to deal with the same things they were initially going to deal with. It's just how they dealt with it is how the forks in the road. That shout out to Nando, my tattoo artist, Royal_tattoo702 on Instagram. We're there for 5 hours. So what do? You talk, and then you end up sharing your life story. And he shared his life story, and I honestly attribute you to both of you. We've all had different lives growing up. We've all dealt with a lot of different shit, and you don't really know what anybody deals with, so they tell you the story. And then for Quincy to tell me his story, with all the stuff he's been through, for Lester to continue to tell me his story, and knowing you guys today and seeing such what I feel is an unbroken character and not a hard shell and not someone who believes they have to be a hard ass their whole lives, to go through all of that and be that person today, I admire that, because I'm that person today, and I had a different path. I could have been this person long ago. And same thing for my tattooer, as he's 25 years old. And when I heard his story, I said, man, it just blew me away. And we had the conversation, maybe we're all supposed to go through this in order to become who we are today. And in order to make the decisions we are today and figure out our why. And so many conversations that him and I had. And I think I told you guys in the chat, I don't really open up unless you directly ask me to, especially if I just met you the first day. And everything you asked me is like, how you feel about that? And I could literally pick one of our episodes that we talked about exactly what he was talking about. It's why, the reason you do things. So leading into this, I started asking about his artistry, and he started telling me about how he does tattoos and how it has to mean something to him, that he has to actually care about doing it. He said there's so many people who just, and I've heard y'all stories in the industry where you're in a studio, people there just to be there, just to say they were there, just to say they did it. People come in the studio just to get a tattoo. Just put anything on me. And he's like, that's not how he works. He can't work like that. He has to work with meaning. He doesn't consider himself a tattoo artist. He considers himself an artist who can do tattoos. And that just showed me the thought process that we talk about. Don't limit yourself to something. Find what you're good at, and stick to your values. Stick to your core values. So that's why he said my tattoo was one of his favorites, because once he found out what it meant to me, it just blew him away. And it took him like 10 hours to draw it. He had to perfect it. Even he was perfecting it. And I almost let it go. And he was like, no, man, we have to make this perfect. And that just reminded me of meeting complete strangers. First day I ever met him, first day I learned his name, and just immediately seeing that connection, like, wow, there are still people like us. There are still people there, no matter the come up, no matter the age, no matter the environment, that still just, they have deeper thought to what they do and why they do things. And I just love that appreciation. And I just wanted to share that with y'all, that the conversations I'm having with random people that I meet in my life now. And I attribute that to this open thought process that we continue to have.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's dope, man. So how did you come across him, and what made you decide to go with him for your tattoo then?
Honestly, it was just Instagram. I started looking on Instagram for tattoos and tattoo artists in the Vegas area, and he just randomly popped up. I started following him, and it's crazy. He offered a super cheap price for a leg tattoo, and I was like, oh, well, maybe the art's not that good, But as I started watching, and I saw progression in the posts he was doing. But then I come to learn that there's a million tattoos that he doesn't post. But so then he threw that offer, and I said, let's do it. And I put a down payment. And then about a month and a half later, because I was early November, finally set up the date, went over there and got it done. And even when he was done, I was like, there's no way I'm going to pay you what that is. I was like, like, especially how what I knew went into this, the time he took, the way he did it, the conversations we had, I was like, you deserve much more, man. And that's, I gained appreciation off just seeing what went into the quality. And I knew that kind of quality deserves more than what he was asking. So it was just off Instagram, man.
That's dope.
That's dope, man. And it's dope because it kind of even goes into what we talk about as far as giving grace. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you gave him that grace, he gave you the grace, and look what ended up happening. Just going into it with that kind of mindset from both ends, you know, it's always good energy. I'm real big on, like, when I'm looking for people for different things, and that's kind of why I asked you, because that kind of sounds like a process I would probably go through with something like that, because I'm kind of the same. Like, when I want somebody to do something, a big thing that I want to see is like a history. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that they've been doing it and that they've been doing it at a good rate for a while. You know what I mean? That's always something that can't be faked, and it's always something that you know, it's just right in your face. They can't take it away from you. You know, it's even like me and Quincy were talking about earlier, as far as the songs that you put out. You know, whenever somebody pulls you up, like, that's kind of your resume. When people look at it, they say, okay, you put out X amount of songs, you know. And this year, actually, I have with the song that I'm dropping at the end of January, it's going to be 33 songs. And this year I'm turning 34. So my
5 days.
Um,
Or I might be out when this episode.
Yeah, it's 5 days.
we'll leave that one up in the air. But the dope thing about it is I'm about to drop like my 34th song in the year of my 34th birthday. So I just kind of want to like make it a thing where I'm like reflecting on like all them joints and like what my mindset was then, what it is now, like everything that's grown from the music and just from outside of the music that led into the music. Because like I said, this year I'm recording an album, and I want to take all this kind of stuff into effect when I go into recording it. And I was even telling Quincy, like, I want to do it where I'm disconnecting and I'm even taking a day in between, like, actually working and, you know, getting to wherever I'm going to go to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get there, take a day to just chill, maybe just even like go sit on a mountain or something, like, and just kind of vibe. And then the next day kind of get into it and just really be mindful and thoughtful with every word and topic and vibe that's going on it, you know?
Yeah, developing an improved creative process.
Exactly. I want it just to peak, so everything is peaking at the same time, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things to talk about pre-show was you know, anything you're doing, and with me with my work, I felt like I was losing how sharp I am at it, and I had to figure out what can I do differently to change that. And I found something, and it's been working. And that's, you got to reevaluate how you do everything all the time. It's never going to stay perfect ever.
Facts, man. Even just talking about that, we were talking earlier about the Pick'em League and the fantasy, and how a lot of people even dropped out of some leagues like halfway through. You know what I mean? I know for the Pick'em, for me, I forgot about that like after like week 7 or something. Like I didn't even remember that thing was there.
Yeah, no,
that's it.
Yeah, same kind of happened with me, but it was more so because like I would typically set my lineups on Thursday and then forget about the first game for the pick'em, and I knew if I forgot that first game, it was like almost pointless for the week.
But is it in the same app y'all use?
It's in the same app. It's in the same app.
Same selection. This has nothing to do with the sport. This has, if I walked up to you every single week for 18 weeks and I said, here are 28 numbers, pick half of them you think are gonna hit, and I'll give you $83. And I
Mhm.
did that for 18 weeks. You would skip one of those weeks? You wouldn't care?
If it wasn't like my priority, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing, is that like for me, like even if I forgot the player on by Thursday, you know, Sunday I'm gonna remember, you know, it's Sunday. But if I forgot to set my lineup by Thursday, I can always sub out whoever played Thursday for somebody that's gonna play Sunday. So I can save face in that regard. When it came to the pick 'em, it's like, bro, once you miss that first pick, you're kind of it's a very small chance that somebody is not gonna get more picks right than you.
I think it's neglect. I think it's neglect, and it's that there's no reason to play anymore is the thought that comes in, which isn't the case. People have won with 9 points. That means 5 games missed. You can, I mean, it's you could go on there and see barely, probably half of the weeks everybody got most of the games right. People barely getting half of the games right. It wasn't that kind of season either, and it's never gonna be. I attribute it to neglect.
I think if it wasn't 73 people, I probably would have had more hope.
One of my close friends, very close friends, did not win a single week, and he won second place, and I'm paying him $520.
Oh, that's
He
dope.
just stayed consistently with his picks every week,
Oh yeah,
but
that's
he
dope.
never won.
Yeah,
But
for
that's what I
me,
mean. I think it's a consistency, and if you care enough to do it for a league that you have to win first, second, and third place, imagine in fantasy we can't even win $83 a week in fantasy, and you do attribute more effort to that where you have to pick players for each position. Then the easiest go-to, just Christmas tree the teams all the way down, and you could win weekly for 18 weeks. It's just no logic that you could say that comes out of your mouth can justify not doing that.
I don't think I care much about the money part of it. I think for me, especially with fantasy, I care more about the bragging rights. Like I like winning the league and talking my shit.
See, and
yeah, for me, it's definitely no neglect. I didn't even remember that thing was there most of the time, you know, because it's like it's in the same app, but you have to scroll down to get to it. So I don't scroll down, you know, I just go to my leagues on the top and that's it. But it makes sense what you're saying.
Mm.
I do what I was saying is like I don't agree because for me I just do these things more for like the camaraderie of it from my point of view because I'm just like I don't really participate in a lot of things anyway. I'm always to myself. I'm like a super hermit crab and these are like kind of my things where I just you know ingratiate myself with people and just kind of get that vibe. So I mean if I remembered every time I remembered I did it, you know what I mean? It wasn't like
so that's perfect because that leads into our sports topics and the matter. So I don't do this for the sport. I don't do this for the players. I don't do this for camaraderie. I do this to win money because I'm paying to play.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm paying for something that I can win money out of, I'm gonna play. If not, what am I gonna play for? I don't do free leagues. I don't give energy.
I'm paying for the experience. Like I don't look at it like that. I don't look at
Yeah.
it like I'm
No,
like trying to make
that's
money
that's
off
what
of
I
it.
mean. And so to me, you saw me winning third place in my league. It wasn't for bragging rights. It's just because I win $100. That's it. I paid a lot of money to play in this thing, and my thing is, and that's what people have different perspectives of it, and that's why that when the big incident happened on the field with Hamlin, all the different reactions, you know, and that's why I by all means stopped the game, like I said, but I was still thinking about, damn, now I can't win this $100 outside of the NFL game.
It's the same thing. Even him, the first thing he asked about was the game. So it's like when the guy that it happened to does that, I kind of feel like whatever anybody thinks, it don't even matter because he was even thinking about the game. You know, so that kind of just tells you what sports fans are about, what sports guys are about. You know, and another thing that we were going to talk about with that was just how you look at the game. Because I was even thinking about that with the Buffalo Bills players. Because Josh Allen was like, "Man, it felt good to put a helmet on, this, and that." And like, I'm thinking mentally, like that can't be the same mentality of that whole team. You know what I mean? Like they can't all be thinking, "Man, it feels good to put a helmet on." They might be putting a helmet on and thinking, like, "Dang, man, it's a different energy now. Like you're thinking about stuff a different way, maybe sometimes. And it's kind of crazy because when we were talking about that, it made me think about the UFC because I'm a big UFC fan. But lately, I haven't really been tapped in. I haven't been watching a lot of fights, probably for like the last like 2 years. Like I read about it a lot. I'll catch some highlights, but I noticed as I don't know if it's because getting older. I don't know what it is, but I used to go to a lot of UFC events when they would come to Tampa, Orlando. Like anytime they came, I went. And one of the last times I went, I just, I don't know, hearing the hits, it felt different. You know, seeing the knockouts, it was kind of like it just didn't like. I don't know if something's changing in me or what it is, but it just seems so much more crazy to me. And I was like, damn, man, this is kind of wild, yo. And it just kind of like put me off away from it, you know.
Mhm.
And I haven't been as tapped in. And that's kind of like the thing with football. Like people are kind of so. I mean, it always goes away and people just come back anyway. But a lot of people are just saying how much dangerous it is and how much we take for granted, like what these guys are going through and what they're doing to, be football players and be in those situations.
Yeah, I saw one guy go down on Sunday with an ankle injury. And, he got up after a moment and walked it off, and you could see the sigh of relief. Even the commentator was like, I think we all kind of take these things a little bit differently now. We see how serious it can get. And, we just way more, appreciative when the player's able to walk off themselves.
Yeah. No, it's tough. But, it's like I said, it's different ways people enjoy sports. I'm a huge Giants fan to the T. I got all the jerseys, and like Les said, and even like Bronx Tales said, when he said he make the Mickey Mantle cry, and he said the Mickey Mantle pay your rent, like what you sad for. I look at sports like that. I love the players. I invest in the teams, but if my team's playing trash, I won't watch them. If there's a big game and I got some plans with the family, I won't watch it. I won't care. If I got money on it, that's when I want to watch it the most. And I still might not. But sports is something that I enjoy as part of my life. I enjoy having it on it. Even like everybody knows, when I go to the bar and the game's on, I'm talking. I went tailgating. I didn't go to the game. You know what I'm saying? It's the sports atmosphere what draws me to it and just being in it. But for the sport itself, I love it. I love it more when I'm winning money off of it. And that's the way I look at it. I don't invest in the wins or losses to players. I do invest when the player gets hurt. Aside from that, the health of any player in any sport is important. But that's the way I view sports. It's not, cry and die for the actual team. It's cry and die for the money I could win.
Here we go. Here we go. This is where the Jedi brings it all back together and directs it in a circular path and puts it in the sky, and then it comes down with the rain of 1,000 waterfalls. So basically what you explained about how you feel about sports, that's exactly how I feel about the leagues and stuff. It's like that sports atmosphere. I'm in a chat where we're talking about football, this and that. Guys are talking shit about beating each other. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's like that's exactly how I feel about those chats and stuff and the fantasy football leagues. Like I view it that same way you're describing that. It's like this is the sports vibe that I'm getting. I'm not at, like you said, going to bars and stuff like that. I don't be doing that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a super hermit crab. Like Quincy knows, bro, it's crazy. Like, but the crazy thing is, I love going on trips and like being outdoors the whole time. Like I go on trips and don't spend $1 because I just go to state parks. You know what I'm saying? I go to trails.
Still got to pay for state parks.
Well, usually you got to pay parking, but usually you don't have to pay to go in. But you know what I mean? End up paying like $5.
I've been to state parks, but they're not free. But side note, I don't know if y'all know, there's like a state park, like seasonal pass where you can get in free for every single state park in the United States.
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
That's super dope.
That's pretty dope.
I gotta check that out. Because bro, even when we went to Georgia with Quincy, first thing we did pretty much was hit a trail where it was like 360 view of the top of the mountains. It was super dope. That's when we shot the video even.
Yeah. No, but I think the main point of the conversation is because where it was going in the chat is that I don't think either of us, unless Quincy jumps in, it's not about the sport. It's about how the environment of doing it and what it brings to you. But it's not like that because Lester started talking about the players and their feelings and all that, and I was like, nah, it's not that deep. It's not deep. It's what the sport brings to me and what I enjoy from it.
I mean, I enjoy the sport. I definitely am, Saints fan, diehard, even though they were trash this year. But at the end of the day, for me, I like just like you said, everybody comes for different reasons. I like the shit talk, man. I like, what I'm saying? I thoroughly enjoy just being in the chat, talking about sports, going into whole other topics, but still having that same shit talk mentality.
Yeah.
That I enjoy that,
Yeah.
And that's why for me, like, yeah, of course, if I win, I want the cash. But I enjoy being able to shit talk even more than that, just because.
Yeah. No, even when the situation happened in the Moneyball League, you were quick to just handle the winnings. It was not what you cared about.
Facts.
You had that's like, the first thing. You're like, that's the first thing you took care of. Now who's going to be called champion? That's a different story. Yeah. Nah, that's what's up. It's different. It's different. We all see different, but so what I want to say is you guys and everybody, the third of the Pick'em League who's top, that's the Pick'em League's not for camaraderie. It's not for nobody's talking shit in there.
Facts.
Nobody's competing against each other. It's just your chance to win money for 18 weeks. And if you're not concerned in that, don't bother. And I don't need the money. The league doesn't need the money. It's cool to have a high number. That's for me to keep track of, more me to do. I like it when it's right at 50. We're good, So that's what I mean. That's not what this league is for. So don't join it just because, we're all in it. Join it just because you actually want to win some money out of it. This goes out to everybody.
Yeah.
Just because, same thing, it's like it's 83 people in there and only 50 are competing. And it's just, I don't like to see that. I'm just holding a bunch of people's money. That's not what I do it for. Because I barely win. I won 1 week this year and it was cool. So I just got to keep the money that I didn't have to send out. But that's the whole thing about everybody who plays in the Pick'em League. I'll make a clip out of this and shoot this out. Don't play if you don't care, because I feel bad about it, and it's not really helping us, just giving us your money to pay other people, especially if I'm not getting it. You know what I'm saying? But that's it.
You've heard the commissioner speak, guys.
I've been doing this like 12 years now, bro. 12 years now.
See, that was my first year. So I was kind of trying it out, and then, like you said, that's not for me.
And I've been holding it I've been running it for 12 years. That's what I mean. Jeez. Running it, and that's why I was like, I don't care for all the people. That's more me to take care of.
Yeah, I never did it before. I didn't really even know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was cool. 1 out of 5 stars. But with that, I just seen that episode of Curb where like he was kind of trying to give his like real life Uber rating, and he thought he was a 4 or a 5, and everybody was like, bro, like you're a 2, you're a 1. It's just crazy. Like we all think we 5s, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Like everybody thinks they're 5s.
I've been a 4.5 my whole Uber career.
And you just knocked that off to sound humble. You think you a 5, dog.
I thought it was a 4.9. I tried to find out what did I do? I know what I did. Y'all want to know what got me that? Y'all want to know? I've fallen asleep so many times.
Yo, I like how you left a little bit of room for just like humanity. You know what I mean? Like just to show I'm human, I'm a 4.9. Like I'm not Superman. I'm mighty close though.
I'm not perfect, but there's been drunk nights in my past where they couldn't find me for a long time because I didn't know where I was at. Or I fell asleep on the ride home and they couldn't figure out where I lived. So for that, I give myself a 4.5 for that.
Yo, you a fool, man.
Yo, that was crazy, yo.
I said who? 4.5 who? I'll sway.
Oh man.
But yeah, man, we got a lot of guests coming up. We got people that are tapped into a lot of different things. You know, y'all just got to follow the ride. You know, we're gonna lead you in the right way. You know, we're gonna bring the people that's gonna add to what we're doing. We were kind of talking behind the scenes and just kind of going over ideas to push the show forward and how to market it and promote it and stuff. And we're like we talked about with the music, we're gonna go the way that is true to who we are. You know, it might take a little longer, but the kind of content that we're gonna put out is gonna be consistent. It's gonna be the stuff that y'all been hearing. It's just gonna be up to 11, where the young rock. So stay tapped in. Anybody got anything they want to say?
Stay grounded.
Yes, sir. And tap in with that Down For Me video. It's out now, skis.
Just fire.
Yes, sir. We just passed 5,000 streams on Spotify with I don't have the numbers handy, but the save rate is tremendous. So keep tapping in, keep listening to it, keep getting into that Discover Weekly, and always, always stay butter.
Tay butter.